Hey, my peeps. We are locking down the truth with Marci Locke and Mr.
Darren Casey.
We always got to say it in some fun way.
Yeah.
So today, Darren and I are coming together because we felt inspired to share a deeper perception and shift as to why we do what we do and why, hopefully, shedding a reflection of the simple question that I have to ask for you guys. This is really the question I have to ask is, obviously, Darren is a fitness nutrition expert. It's part of what I do as a fitness nutrition mindset expert. So a lot of people go, oh, like, you know, looking at the body, and there's a massive disconnect as to the body being a reflection of your life. So the question I really have for you people joining us today is looking at is this really about the body being this, right? Darren, do your little flexy flex. I know you got those sexy guns too, right? Boom. Is it really about the body, or is your body a reflection of your life?
Yeah. Like you say, the body is your tool. So if the tool is not working to full capacity, how does that affect everything else?
So what I want people to realize is going deeper to say, okay, if everything external in your world is a reflection of your inner self-worth, is a reflection of what's going on inside you, how is your body showing up? And if that's how your body is showing up, how really are you, what are the results in your business? Because the reflection of the body is the same reflection of what you deserve in your business, in your relationships, in your spiritual connection alignment. So you might think, oh, I'm kicking ass in the business, but really if your body's showing up half-ass and there's results that show that that's the case, then most likely you've only tapped into an inkling of your ability even in your business, because the results are that you're blocked there as well, because the results are that you're blocked in your body. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So first off, Darren, I mean, I want to obviously share with people, you're an amazing genius who this is your passion, your purpose, is a lot of time you focus on high-end producers that are guys, because you love to work with guys, and having, obviously, you're a guy, you have a penis, they have a penis, it makes sense. You know exactly what to do, right?
Let me just check. Yeah.
Check it real quick, okay? Make sure that I'm speaking truth here. Okay, but the reason you started doing this is because you saw guys dying early, having massive disconnect in their relationships, etc., because their body wasn't in tune. Obviously, that's where I started as a nutrition fitness expert, because I was blocked in the body and realized that I never allowed myself to create the body because my inner belief systems and my block of my self-worth. So we came together to say, okay, guys, this is the deal. It's not really about the body. The body is simply the tool and the vehicle that's affecting every single space of your life, and how that's showing up is a reflection of how everything else is showing up. So help us see, Darren, what you've experienced with this connection to the body and your business, relationships, everything else, and why you do what you do.
Yeah, well, it's a great way that you've just described that. There's lack of balance especially in the busy entrepreneur world. There's a lack of balance where many of these guys, I've seen it myself day in, day out, they're pursuing wealth, they're pursuing their career, they're trying their best to give their full energy to things externally, e.g. their clients, their business, their finances. And there's this subconscious conditioning by society, whatever you want to call it, where these guys are neglecting the relationships, they're neglecting their body, they're neglecting their health, and you can only continue at that rate or that pace with this huge lack of disconnect and balance before shit hits the fan, as they say. And you know, you might be one of the lucky ones who who gets a warning sign, but I've seen it myself personally. Many of these guys, 40+ guys, they don't get a warning sign. They end up very wealthy, 6 feet under. So that's the extreme of it, and that's the reality of where many of these guys are heading. But social conditioning, subconscious programming, they're not even aware that they are pursuing this this sabotaging lifestyle where they've made a choice of leaving their body, their health here, and they're pursuing their wealth and their business here. And what they don't realize is this lack of balance.
Let's look at why. Let's look at why. Why do guys, in general, have it that they only see the perception of, I'm going to focus on my business, versus seeing the connection that their body's also worth it. And also, let's pose it the other way. Why do women usually say, oh, I got to focus on my body to be my reflection of self-worth, versus other aspects of life are okay to not be there? So the disconnect is that it's really about your mechanism for validation and your mechanism for self-worth. So you're saying, like, a lot of guys don't even see it, that there's a connection to their body and how they're reflecting their self-worth in having that and having relationships and everything else, because they go, oh, if I make a lot of money and my business is rocking, I'm good enough. Would you agree?
Yeah, exactly. You've hit it there. A lot of guys' morals and ego and self-esteem is measured by the bank account, the car, the house, the social status, their ego. But many of these guys, like you say there, I guess it's a cultural thing to a certain extent and a lack of insight to a certain extent. You know, we are programmed to pursue this wealth goal, and it's not until we realize how damaging this lack of balance is, and the risks and the costs to your business as well, that these guys start to wake up and see, man, I could get to this goal that I'm aiming for with less stress, less overwhelm, and a more, I would say, with a nicer journey, a journey where you're going to enjoy creating this outcome without negative side effects. You've heard it. There's someone who I know, I won't mention their names. He's built $10 million business. He's got the hugest castle to go home to, and guess what? There's nobody there.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, and I love, so you talk about, first off, one of the things that you hit is the cost that you're paying by not realizing, okay, I'm kind of like on this hamster wheel, this definition of insanity, making it hard, not having the energy to fully like be able to connect with my clients, to like kick ass all day long, I'm not an open tool because I'm disconnected by being tired, sluggish, fatigue, having cravings, feeling fogged over, I got to take a nap, etc. You're not an open connection to even be inspired to act. You're lacking confidence, which confidence is the #1 key to sales. One of the greatest resembles of this for me was I had a guy who, after, again, $1 million producer, a massive training company around the world, one of my high-end clients that I coached, and he had someone come back to him and say, now I'm ready to coach with you and train with you and mentor with you because he shed 100 pounds. And they're like, and it wasn't that his content changed. It was that a subconscious belief system happens from our conditioning where if someone interacts with you, even just seeing, if you don't look like you're able to take care of yourself, if you don't look like you're in control of your world, that you're literally in a space of results in that way in your body, okay, then there's a subconscious belief of like, can I trust you? If you can't even take care of yourself, how can I trust you that you even know what you're talking about? Even if it has nothing to do with the body, even if it's totally a different game, there's a subconscious judgment going on that they can really control their world because it looks like they can't even control or take care of themselves. So once he shed 100 pounds, this guy's like, okay, sorry, but this was the reality. I didn't think that you could really teach me what, because it looked like your life was out of balance. So confidence is the #1 key to sales, and when you're confident, that exudes. And so, yes, there's those costs, okay? There's definitely a huge one, and your goal is to allow guys and people to see the connection that if you really want your business to thrive and be fucking epic, you get to be connected to this tool because then it's easy and effortless. Then it's allowing your relationships to be connected because you have energy and you're ready to come home and like connect and have those experiences as well. And there's a connection to everything because obviously your body is your vehicle to experience everything. But the thing that I want to tap on, Darren, is there's a whole other side, okay? This is my genius, right? Like this is like what you are actually speaking as the value of your self-worth. So your body not showing up is you operating out of less than 10% of your capacity and power. We know this. But what you're actually exuding by saying, I'm unworthy, if your body is showing up as a reflection of disconnect, you're saying at a core level, I'm not worthy. I don't deserve it. I'm not good enough. I can't have it all. So if your body is a reflection of this is the same energy you are vibrating out. This is the same belief system that you're exuding to say what you deserve in your business, what you deserve in your relationships. So taking a look, if we're just aware and people step out of themselves and say, okay, let's look at my life, let's look at my results. If the results of my body suck, but my business is awesome, where else in your life are things off and sucking. Like it might be that, okay, well, 1 or 2 areas can be, there might be a belief system running, which most of us have. I guarantee like 99% of the population exists out of this belief system, that 1 or 2 areas can be awesome or good, and we can control 1 or 2 areas or focus on 1 or 2 areas where we're validated, hence guys, business, maybe women focus on the body to be validated, but not everything can be awesome. And that's still a reflection of the inner belief systems going that say there has to be amount of hard or work or sacrifice or settle. When I say fuck that, it's about the belief system I believe in and live in is that knowing of my truth and my greatness and that I am a limitless possibility, infinite creator, everything gets to be fucking awesome. Every aspect of my life is a reflection of that. And if I know that truth, and that's the inner belief, that's the inner reflection of my self-worth, I can't accept anything but pure awesomeness in every aspect of life. And it all gets to flow easily and effortlessly. So those are the 2 sides that I see that there's that connection. Not only are you making life hard by not living in tune, because it is your vehicle for everything else, but on top of that, you're actually exuding to the universe, hey, this is what I believe I deserve and I'm worth. And the results don't lie. If your body is not in tune, your results don't lie. And you are literally choosing a life of hard, settle, sacrificed work, etc. versus fucking effortless.
Well, that's it. It's the effortless, isn't it? It's like you say, let's delve into the costs. So a lot of people, a lot of guys are so in tune with this, with the blinkers on, so in tune with this external goal, that they're not even aware of this untapped potential and capacity that's available to them. So if they're not aware of it, how can they change it? And that comes back to, again, being conscious, looking at something like what we're doing and saying, man, what are these guys doing? What can I do there? Because everybody's looking to grow, everybody's looking to earn more money, everybody's looking for the next big thing. How about that next big thing is right in front of you in the mirror? It's you. Why are people not investing on themselves? Because you invest in yourself. People are spending 10, 15, 20,000 pounds on a watch, but they won't spend that money on themselves. So where is that disconnect? So once these guys start to see that, they're taken aback and they're like, man, why did I not do this a year ago? Because when they look at, let's say over their first 12 weeks, I've had guys tell me that they feel they've been replicated several times over. So what impact will that have on your business? So that's only 12 weeks. Imagine the impact that would have on the next 5 years in your business. Wow.
Yep. Yeah, huge, definitely. So maybe let's take this to a surface behavioral consciousness, right? So these are the deeper things going on, is that recognizing the cost of your whole entire life being affected, how you're making it hard, your belief systems that are operating. Let's take it to the surface. So behaviorally, what are the blocks? Okay, so all of a sudden these guys go, well, it's the time, it's the effort, it's the energy. I look at even like what are the belief systems running about eating and about working out. So all of these, the blocks become looking at the behavioral things and how do we overcome understanding the behaviors, the how-tos. Because I believe losing weight is really easy. It's why aren't you? So it's the internal associations connected to that. So let's say, for you get to teach, what we teach obviously is teaching people how to work out in 12 to 20 minutes and kick ass and be super effective, but their belief system might be running that, oh, for me to have a healthy body, I've got to work out an hour a day, I've got to work out 2 hours a day, or I have to go to the gym, or I have to sacrifice connection when I dine out with friends, or I'm going to give up the things that I like, or eating healthy is hard. And it all comes down to it's as easy or as hard as you want to make it. It's your perception that creates your possibility. So this is why we've even created the 3-day shred, is because we want to say, okay, let's catapult you in experiencing a body of health by understanding how simple and how fucking easy. You've lived in it for years, I've lived in it for years, how fucking easy it is to live in this body of health that allows you to catapult everything else when you learn the how-tos, but you also get to connect the inner belief systems going on.
Yeah.
So what do you teach people with breaking through that surface, the behavioral stuff?
Yeah, and that's the disconnect really between productivity, success, and the internal productivity and success. So when you look at things, you know, in a deeper level, you've got to say why you're not doing that. And I guess it all comes back to your self-worth and not being aware of these benefits. Because like you say, there's a perception or a misconception that you have to go to the gym for 60 minutes. You know, it's a 30-minute job there and back to get changed. It's 2 hours out of your day. And 2 hours out of your day for $1 million earner, that's worth probably $300 to $600 per day. And there's guys out there spending 10 hours a week in the gym, pissing around with the old school style of working on the cross trainer like a rabbit. And after 4 weeks, man, I wouldn't stick to that schedule. You know, the results are slow. You get bored. You get, you know, your body gets inflamed. There's no drastic improvements, and it's easy to see why people say, "Screw this. This is not worth my time." It's costing them, you know, 10 hours a week, $6,000 a week in lost business in one way. So when we start to
more than that, my hour is worth like $3,000. So I can totally resonate.
I'm being very conservative. The costs are way bigger because, like you say, you're showing up overweight, out of shape, lack of energy. Let's say you lose one client a week. What's one client a week worth to you? Like, it could be worth millions and millions and millions of dollars, but guess what? We're not even aware of it. This is the big disconnect in the highest performers in business. These guys are the ones who are making that connection of nutrition, wellness, meditation, time to themselves, time out, and leveraging this kind of stuff. You can leverage it because the cognitive function, the cognitive energy, that's why the top performers, they're wearing they're limiting their brain capacity's potential by wasting time trying to figure this stuff out. So once you've got a plan that works, you've got the insight into the plan that works, you can delegate that out to something like this, which you can learn on the 3-day shed in 3 days, not 3 months or 3 years, let's face it. You'd already be there by now if you knew everything you needed to do. So yeah, it's all a case of getting the insights into how to spend your time for the lifestyle, you know, for the long haul, really, not just this week, this month.
Yeah. So the surface stuff is what we're going to dig into, which is the how-tos, how to literally eat to be a fat burning machine for the rest of your fucking life, not just like, hey, here's a diet, here's a plan. So you're not talking about, okay, guys, here's just a plan, go do this, because that's what you've done in the past. Oh, what's P90X or another workout video or a gym plan, etc. There's a reason. So this is where we also get to go, is there's a reason why that isn't working. So your weight is showing up as a reflection of, it's just a symptom of the root cause. The weight is not the problem. The problem is the root cause that created the weight. And that's what you tapped on, which is self-love, worth. Okay, so even balance, you tapped on balance, like having that balance in your life. So if we're constantly seeking validation through business, making money, etc., and so we take it as, okay, I have to, there's a forced feeling going on, which ego mind doesn't want to be forced, then you eventually sabotage. They're striving so hard to like create in that way. There's a disconnected imbalance that then what happens is, why do we sabotage? Why is the body showing up the way it is? Then out of that desperation to actually connect to self and feel good, we reach out and we sabotage. So I want to pose this thought process for people out there, is that if you're sabotaging, when you're sabotaging, it's because you're so desperately seeking a feeling, and so you're reaching outside of yourself to create that feeling. It's going externally instead of internally, and that is never going to work because it's a false reality. It's a false, so hence, every time you sabotage, you feel shitty, you feel people attach shame and guilt to it, which is a negative energy you're vibrating, everything else. You never actually create that feeling of feeling good. So if you're sabotaging in your body, and you're sabotaging reaching out to food, etc., and your body's that reflection, I want you to think about, how am I sabotaging in my business? How am I sabotaging in my relationships? Because again, all things are connected. It's all one energy. How you do one thing is how you do all things. So this is a simple reflection going, wow, here I might think that I'm doing well because I'm, exerting so much time and effort and energy and creating a certain space in business, etc. But if my body's showing up this way, that is literally how it's showing up in everything else too. You just haven't connected the dots to see how you are actually sabotaging in your business, how you're actually sabotaging your relationships, because you haven't even looked at the simple surface facts of how you're sabotaging in your body, and how you're sabotaging with food, and how you're sabotaging in your life. So that's the deeper side we get to understand is when this is how it becomes easy and effortless, Darren, is you combine the things that you and I are talking about with the how-tos. how to rock out working out for 12 to 20 minutes and burn fat for up to 2 days, how to eat healthy, delicious, easy, simple, how to shift the perceptions about it, that it's not sacrifice or taking away, but it's adding to your life, how to dine out successfully, so it's not about the food, it's about the connection and the experience, and how to shift and replace things so that you actually enjoy it. All those are the hows to, all those are the easy parts of that, but we also get to understand how to internally disconnect or reattach the internal representations to foods, associations, triggers, why your behaviors show up and you go there, because otherwise you're always on this hamster wheel, this definition of insanity, because otherwise if it was all about the nutrition and the fitness, you would have the results. You said that. I mean, look at society. We have thousands upon thousands, like years and years ago, it was like 30,000 diets that were, through the FDA. Now it's like, I can't even imagine what it is now. That's not the solution, or we would not be an obese society. So how do we recognize when we're going outside of ourselves to fill up on a feeling, and how do we shift that game to give ourselves the feeling we want, which is a reflection of self-worth and love. So all of this comes to all components combined, and behaviorally looking at how do we do it, and how do we connect to ourselves, and how do we create that inner game going, the inner game that it's about self-love. And even the belief system which you and I have really looked at and talked about as we've gotten through coaching stuff is that life is easy and effortless. Like that it gets to be easy when you're connected and you're in that knowingness and that truth, you're always exuding an energy. So I talked about earlier how there's an energy you're vibrating if you think it's hard and you have to sacrifice or settle, and that's how your body's showing up. There's an energy you're vibrating out. And whatever energy you're vibrating out is what you're attracting back and what you're experiencing. So with your belief system is that, like for me, that like the sun doesn't struggle to shine every day, the grass doesn't struggle to grow, we don't struggle to breathe, we are effortlessly always creating. So if we know we're effortlessly creating, what are you exuding out? What energy are you giving out? And so what are you if it's I'm effortlessly creating, whatever I'm believing and feeling is what I'm experiencing. It does just, life starts to flow through you. So by you tapping onto, okay, the balance of life, if I'm balanced and I feel good, I'm in alignment, guess what? I turn around and the clients are effortlessly there that are like, hey, you're amazing, I want to work with you. I'm like, yes, of course you do, because I'm amazing, I believe it, and I know I have a value to give and a message to share, and I can teach you the same journey I went down to give you that freedom. But when you're like, and you're working 60 hours, or that doesn't make sense, not 60 hours a day, but you're working like crazy and there's a disconnect, you don't feel good. And then you're disconnected from making money.
Exactly. And like I say, the law of attraction is a subconscious thing as well. If who you want to hang out with, do you want to hang out with the guy who's stressed, who's not got much energy left, who you see after his business hours and he's on the verge of just having his sleep, he's not got that energy, he can't run around with the kids, he's not got much energy left for his wife, we won't go into the sex life or anything like that, but you get the picture. There's only so much energy we've got in a typical day with a current lifestyle. So if you want something new, you have to admit that everything that you've done before has to change.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. So everything you've done before will not give you a different result. And how many guys on Facebook, how many guys do you know are your friends, do you see for the first 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks posting insanity workouts, posting P90X workouts? Man, these guys are working out a lot more than me, but where are they in 6 months' time? They're still where they started. And there's a reason for that. And, you see every year the New Year's resolutions, you see it, all these crazy diets people are doing. There's a reason why they're reverting back to their old familiar ways.
Yes. So I want to touch on something that you just said, because so this was my experience going to, I was in Mexico for several weeks for our Badass Breakthrough adventure that you came and experienced, where we were out in the Mexican jungle. Yeah. So and when I came back, and obviously this was around holidays, it was over New Year's, we did this awesome epic thing out there, and so spent a couple weeks in the Mexican jungle, went to Cancun after, and played for several times. I come back to the gym, or was in the gym a couple days, and all these people like literally came up to me over the course of a couple days and was like, oh my gosh, you look amazing, are you a fitness model, are you this and this and this? And they're like, oh, I was doing so good, and then the holidays hit, or oh, I was doing so good, and then I went out of town for the holidays, or I traveled. So I really want to touch base on, this is the deal, is that this is life. Like, okay, so for me, I believe the world is my playground, and the world is also my gym. There is no attachments or or blocks around it has to look a certain way, or I have to be in a gym, or have to do anything like this. Like, I know how to work out anywhere at any time for a short amount of time. You've seen it. We did it in the Mexican jungle with no equipment at all. I had my bands and I kicked everyone's ass, right? And there was days that you kicked everybody's ass too. And so seeing how, instead of, when you learn those how-tos of how, if this is how I want my life to live, so a lot of high producers like myself get to want to like travel and play. We have clients all around the world. I have clients from around the world that come and see me, and I want this to be a part of my experience. So if our experience is every time I travel, I gain weight, I don't know how to stay on track, or how to, honor my body of health and live in a body of health. Every time holidays happen, or parties, or, dining out experiences, or friends come in town, or clients, or even client meetings, they think, oh, well, if there's thoughts and perceptions about fears of judgment, etc., then it's like, okay, well, we'll eat whatever they have, and we'll have, the wine or whatever we want, and that's creating, there's a massive disconnect going on, honoring and loving yourself and knowing. So part of it, again, the how-tos, learning the actual knowledge of how to do this for the rest of your life, and how to do it in any situation, that is no longer a block and a barrier for you. That's no longer a sabotaging pattern. Because think about it, how long can that last? If it has to be a controlled environment, and everything is just a perfect flow, and there's no, circumstances that come into play that are going to throw me off, then I can live in a body health. Well, guess what? You are fucked. You're fucked, because that's just, that's like life is growth and expansion. So I that's so huge and important. Is actually, in my experiences, traveling is actually even easier for me to stay in a rockin' body of health, and even easier to control, because it's like the knowing the how to. So that's a huge aspect, is seeing that if you really want that experience, if you want a body of health, and you want it to be able to allow you to constantly, every single day. You saw our videos in Mexico, and you and I were like, woo! And this is like after a whole day of rocking out business strategy and doing all sorts of fun stuff, and both of us had worked out and done runs and done all these things. We're still on, like, up here with energy, because that's how we operate, living in this place. So if that's really what you want, what does it take to invest in yourself to go, I get to finally learn not only the how-tos, but how to break through the inner shit that is stopping me from actually doing that. So it's about breaking through the beliefs behind the behaviors, as well as adding the components of how to. But that's a huge one. And the reason we're doing this, Darren, is because, so my personal clients that are $150,000 plus dollar clients, they come and they get like 2 days hands-on with me, like a couple days hands-on, to literally see how I, work it out with my house and the food, and getting hands-on workouts. Obviously in my site they have my workouts, but it's not the same as like being in my space, getting to experience every little maximizing results. And for you, it's the same. You have all these guys in your masterminds, all these guys that you coach, but there's not a lot of opportunity, you being over in the UK, for them to get hands-on. So the whole reason we decided to do this, and this is like, I'll do cabin retreats every blue moon. The last one I did was 1.5 years ago. And I have everyone going, when's the next one? When's the next one? And I'm just like, my schedule's booked out for the next year with my events and my stuff, so it's not going to happen. So tell us, like, why this was such a great opportunity for you, and why we actually put this together with you coming over here to San Diego, and what we wanted to create for people.
Well, it's a little stroke of luck for everybody in San Diego that we're both there at the same time. We're both there for an event, traffic and conversion, right? So what's going to happen there? Guys are going to break free from their normal environment. They're going to go to an event where they're socializing. Usually that involves eating things that they shouldn't really be eating. Energy levels are going low. The networking, their alcohol intake, the lack of perceived time to exercise, all these things come up where they're sabotaging two things: the body, the mind, and the performance, right? So after 3 days at this event, we said, these guys are going to be sat on their bums for three whole days.
It's always so cute in British.
Like, here's my office chair, and God, it's the biggest killer ever. Anyway, here we go. So what we said, we're both there at the same time. Why not we give these people who are conveniently around where we are, let's put on an event the day after, so the 21st and 23rd of February, where we can give these people an opportunity to get tremendous breakthroughs, tremendous hands-on experience in a very short time. 3 days is not a long time when we take into account how much time away we put into our business I bet over the past 10 years you've not given yourself 3 days to take care of your body and your mind and get back to building massive momentum in such a short period of time. So it's a great opportunity. I'm going to take the 11-hour flight again over to San Diego.
Yep.
And, you know, if you're around there and you're saying, oh, I've got to get back, man, whatever it is, you know, I know guys who live in San Diego, they won't drive 2 hours to come to something like this. And guess what? This was a few years ago. Guess what? 2 years ago, they're still in the same position. Actually, they're worse off. So this is why we put this event on, to help, offer, or to give back some of our genius to a small number of people over 3 days.
Yeah, and we've got our personal clients or people in our masterminds that are like, oh my gosh, yes, I want the hands-on time with you. So it's already filling up super fast. But this is so that any of those people can get hands-on experience, or anyone that's wanting to learn, how do I really get clear super fast, learn, have the knowingness that when you experience it, it's such a different game than just like, so I love the analogy of, you know, you can read about things, you can study things, you can process things, you can visualize it, you can materialize it, but until you experience it, it's like being a swimmer. You know, that's a perfect example of you could read about swimming, you could study swimming, you could process swimming, you could process all the reasons why you're afraid of the water, just like you could process in the body why there might be some blocks of feeling safe or lack of worth or all these other things that come up for you. You could visualize it, you can meditate it, but until you fucking do it and you're in the water, you're not a swimmer. So the experiential training is such a huge part for my personal clients to get to work out with me, to get to do the hands-on food, to learn every single space of like eating healthy and delicious and the recipes that you can do and how to do, you know, your green smoothie shakes to breakfast, lunch, dinners, desserts, how to dine out successfully, how to travel, how to work out anywhere, on the beach, in a hotel room, in a, you know, stairwell, to all how to be effective, how to maximize your time, and how to break through the inner shit. We're going to go into this is the whole idea, is for 3 days getting you and I to completely hands-on, early morning to at night, doing from working out to dining out to play to everything, going through the inner block shit that's blocking you, the belief systems running for you, and how to actually experience the how-tos and training and shifting it so that you are literally walking out there going, I know how to rock this out. I can rock out the body. Then that just becomes one more the experience that you get to grow into of having it reflect into everything else. So it's connecting all the dots, all the dots to be able to do this.
The hands-on experience, let's just compare it to something that's familiar for a lot of these guys. Now, these guys are going to attend a mastermind event with a small number of people for their business. The breakthroughs these guys get in their business when they come through just after 1 day of a mastermind, or maybe even 3 days of a mastermind, the reason they're paying top dollar for these events is because they're accelerating progress. They're not going on some 12-month course that they're, you know, absorbing in their own leisure. They're attending these events because they're getting rapid progress. Now, we're developing a system or an experience which does the same for your body, which thus improves everything else.
Yep, totally. So I'm stoked about it. This is just one other way that you can massively up-level your life, by connecting those dots. So Darren, if they're interested in doing this, because we're already half full on this event, I'm thinking the best way is that you get to fill out an application so that we know that you're interested and can connect. We are only keeping this to a certain amount of people, so it is very hands-on. So I know they can either go to marcilock.com//application. You have an application process too they could send to you, or they can even message both of us on Facebook, either one of us, and one of us will be able to go through that interview process with them. What's your application link, or for them to do that?
So it's Coach Casey, Coach Darren Casey, so www.coachdarrencasey.com. You'll see an application link button there, so click on that, fill out the form. It'll give us a good insight into exactly where you're at. So when we meet you, we've got it's a shortcut. We can really dive into exactly where you're at, because once we know where you are at now, we can then accelerate things much further on. Let me just finish up with just this little summary. So 2015 is going to be, or it seems to be, the year that a lot of these guys, especially the internet marketing world and beyond, a lot of the top producers have made the connection already between invested in their body and the productivity and the income that they're going to generate. So you've got one option really, jump in this. It's like a culture really. We're developing a new culture. Jump into this culture now in 2015, because you're going to get left behind if you don't.
Well, and the thing that I want to reflect on with that is why live in the belief system of that you can't have it all? Like, why not go from, if life is good, why not go to great? Why not, if it's great, why not go to amazing? If it's amazing, why not experience fucking fantastical? And it is really a revolution in a culture of, and even out of the 1% that are creators, Darren, there's spectators, participants, and creators in life. Out of the 1% that are creators, I believe there's 1% who live in divine alignment like I get to experience, which is like life is effortless and awesome. Finances are fucking epic. Relationships are fucking epic. My body of health is fucking epic. My spiritual connection is fucking epic because I am clear internally and aligned, so it allows me to fully thrive and fully share my passion, have things work through me, and life is just epic. But so many of us are disconnected from that, and so I believe truly we are creating a revolution of those people to say, that's what I want, that's where I'm going. So what's the disconnect from keeping me here? Obviously my results don't lie. So look at your results in life, because your results will never lie. You can have all sorts of validations and stories and excuses. And the other day I talked to someone, they were like, yeah, well, I'm feeling a little sluggish and off because, I gained weight but that's because I had a launch going on, and that's just how it goes. I'm like, well, that's a nice bullshit story you're living in. Like, what if because you were like allowing yourself to be more in tune, your launch would be so much more successful? That's the disconnect. So coming together with us for this 3 days to totally catapult your business, your relationships, your spiritual connection, your passion and your purpose coming through you, everything, because it is a reflection of your self-worth, and being in tune is going to allow you to catapult that creation, that confidence, that inspiration, that acting out on things, like the energy to thrive, everything. So I'm stoked to do it with you. I'm stoked to see you soon. Is there anything else that you want to add today?
Just to reinforce everything you just said, really, everything that you're doing now, you're going to have much less resistance. It's like swimming. It's like swimming from one island to the next through the currents, man. That's what you're doing now. Yeah. Let's just turn that boat around and just go with the currents. That's the way to look at it.
Yeah. Awesome. Yes, awesome. Cool. Well, I hope to hear from those of you who are ready to take life to an epic level soon. Darren, I know, is available as well. Those of you that will be joining us in San Diego, it's going to be fucking awesome and epic. And I'm stoked. You stoked, definitely. Darren?
Excited to speak to those fast action takers. You're going to get access to us. We're not going to send you off to some sales guy to or anything like that. We're going to get on the phone with you personally, because we want to make sure that we get the right people down for this experience.
Yep. Awesome. Cool. So again, you can go to marcilock.com/application. You can message me on Facebook. You can message Darren on Facebook, or go to coachdarrencasey.com to fill out his application.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Same as Facebook, facebook.com/Coach Darren Casey.
Cool. Awesome. So I'm going to go rock out the rest of my day. I'm in tune with my body of health. So is Darren. I hope you guys also have a greater understanding of where some blocks are in your life of creating epic awesomeness and making it flow and making it easy. Power of choice is yours. Choose your best life. Darren, anything else you want to add?
With
locking it down.
Lock and Darren Casey. There we go. We'll see you in San Diego, people.
Awesome. Love you. Lock it down.
Locking it down.